Welcome back to another episode. And today I wanted to have a little bit of fun. But first, as always, I wanted to announce this week's winner. And this week's winner goes to Judith. Thank you so much for commenting on one of the previous videos from Hack Crypto. Thank you. And if you're new here, comment your address below with a clever little comment about the video and for your chance to win. Today, I want to go through my experience with crypto in 2014 to today, which is in 2018 in October. And this is one of the first tweets that I did. I was actually playing versus one of my previous co-founders, Sebastian, in a ping pong game, and it was over Dogecoin. We were regularly going back and forth with Dogecoin as far as faucets and learning everything about Dogecoin and figuring everything out as we went. And this was in January of 2014, right before I actually moved out to California. Daily Dogecoin was a faucet, and that was essentially like a news publication on Twitter that doesn't even exist anymore. As you can see, Twitter's not even recognizing it. We were giving away 1,300 Dogecoin to everyone that signed up for the startup that we were working on back then, which is actually quite funny. It was like a Twitter automation bot. Around the Super Bowl time, we were giving out more Dogecoin. This was a Vertcoin tweet. So Vertcoin is still around. They're still trucking if you hover over it. Open and decentralized blockchain-based currency focused on long-term distribution of mining consensus, launched in January 2014. So I was involved in May of 2014, which was pretty exciting. I remember following along, seeing how interested and excited people were getting about a project that had slick design and a core wallet that was different than Doge. And it was just a very cool project. And I still, to this day, love the fact that I learned so much about decentralization from Vertcoin. And I remember just tweeting this out, basically shilling it right when I moved out to California. I think that a lot of people are now learning lessons as to what good projects will last long term. And for example, Vertcoin still being around today, it just goes to prove that team has a lot to do with the long-term success. Like how many punches can you take? The whole Mt. Gox thing really shifted my mindset when I was like, okay, wow, these centralized exchanges, which leads me into the next couple tweets here, but these centralized exchanges are controlling way too much, and when they get hacked, it's just like a bank robbery. That's something that's out of your control, other than the fact that you can take your money off of it. Changed my mentality a lot. Vertcoin taught me a ton, and also Mt. Gox taught me a ton. So this one is a good homage to Richie at Bittrex, and he, he's still on the team there. They have been, growing extremely successfully over the years. They're still a big deal. And this tweet is very special to me, mainly because X11 coin doesn't exist anymore, but it was basically a fundamental experience with a 6-digit increase. Like it went up 300 or 400%. You can see Bittrex was super responsive back then, and they were, I used to communicate with them quite a bit. X11 coin, RIP. It's such a funny time. Developers were pushing out coins so much back then, and CoinMarketCap was listing them as fast as they were coming out. And now it's not the case. It's much more locked up and a lot more gridlock and verifications that have to take place. But this was pure wild, wild west, and it was so much fun to watch, interact with these exchanges, and just get involved. June 2014. Board games plus cheap wine plus Bitcoin equals Silicon Valley outings. This was right after I had moved out to Mountain View, and I was living in a two-bedroom apartment with 6 guys. It was pretty close quarters. Companies started raising a ton of money. There was $300 million to be invested in Bitcoin startups in 2014, and it was 3 times the amount. So it was a 3x growth from 2013. Which is really exciting. I remember tagging P. Marca in this, and he liked it. Mark Andreessen liked it back then, and I was super stoked that he was paying attention to a Bitcoin tweet. 2014, June also, when I was in San Francisco. That was when Expedia started to accept Bitcoin favorite out of all of this, and I'm going to be putting the link below to this Medium post posted in June of 2014, and it's very, very old. You can see most of these coins, actually Feathercoin's still around. A lot of these coins aren't around anymore. And it was like my story leading up to June 2014 in Bitcoin. The title of this was Buy Cryptocurrency, Don't Understand It. In one day, taking bets on two altcoins, X11 coin that I mentioned previously, Silkcoin, I turned a quarter of a Bitcoin, which was then $150, into 0.75, which is 450. I had tried to do all this diligence and the websites were dinky and they were just sort of one, maybe two developers that were having some fun making a coin and quickly saw some success on CoinMarketCap. And it was such a different landscape back then, but very fun. Love this. I'm probably going to tweet this out when I share this video just because this was such a fun post to look back on. In 2015, 2016, it was kind of like this upward incline, but people were not investing. Boost VC did great things. Tim Draper did great things. A lot of people did really, really amazing things between 2015 and 2016, and even 2014. A lot of people were doing great things. This period was like a desert. It was like quiet. A lot of people weren't doing much movement. People were just sort of capitulating and getting out of the market. That's all I wanted to do, was go through some of the fun old tweets just to give you guys my perspective on what 2014 and 2013 through 2018 crypto was like for me. It started with a lot of Dogecoin and a lot of Bitcoin, Vertcoin, X11, and Silkcoin. A lot of those alts were wild. They were extremely volatile. They poofed overnight. X11, doesn't exist anymore. I don't know if Silk is still around or not, but I definitely just wanted to emphasize that it is a learning curve. A lot of the smartest people in the world are involved in Bitcoin. I will say that after being in this for 5 years, I've learned a lot and I've seen a lot of ups and downs. And this tweet alone says that, HODL, that was around the time that I'd learned about that phrase. And it was definitely a HODL time. It is now, and it probably always will be. But experience with learning from crypto, I hope this helps you guys with figuring out that failing and losing money and losing Bitcoin in the space is just par for the course. I think that that's just how this is always going to play out. The early adopters get pummeled with a lot of different curveballs. And I think that I definitely did. I know that a lot of people out there that are advocates did as well. And it's sort of how it works. That's how just innovation works. Got to have some bumps and bruises along the way. And now everybody's happy, but it didn't just poof overnight. This is a long time coming, and this is a long learning curve, doing diligence and figuring out where to invest and where not to. So I will see you guys on the next episode.